the Western mindset lately, right? Especially in the United States, have been crunching is bad, never crunch, don't overstay at your workplace, right? Uh, even myself over the years have been like, crunch culture is terrible, don't do it, right? And then COVID happened, and then I felt like we overly not crunch. It's like everybody started complaining about. It's like I got to watch my kid. Who's gonna watch my kid if I work? I was like, what are you talking about? What were you doing before? So it's like people were making up excuses not to work, and if anything, working at a minimum, during the day and projects. I think consequently, I mean, not even I think, I know at this point, we've seen a lot of projects got delayed, got pushed, difficulty on top of many other difficulty, right? I'm not saying with many people over on the pod, we've learned, right? There's many factors that might delay the game. Not everyone's just lazy about it, but just complications and the changing variables of people working from home, the distractions, and just health, the health factor with COVID and everything. It just created a perfect storm of problems to not finish the game. All right. Just saying that. Just sideline that right now. But like in terms of like crunch mentality, it's still the same, I think. A lot of people, even now, I think now is even worse because there's so many defeated developers, right? Where like, you get this much out of me from now on, right? Because there's this like, I don't want to work that much for you, right? Which I think is countering what this industry is about. Like, as you guys have proven and seen, right, with your passion project, your project Grail right here, is that doing extra hours get things done, which is, I think, the main thing that people do forget, right? So I don't know if Europe is uh different. I know Eastern companies have always, they work to the die. They never change, right? Like the Chinese companies, Korean companies, Japanese companies, they like it's all about work. So they never change. But I know like in at least North America, it's been very difficult to kind of talk to people about crunching anymore. Right? Is Europe kind of the same or different? What do you guys have to say about that? Multi
Um,
or
Multi.
Roy?
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Roy. This time.
Okay, okay. So very interesting topic, to be honest. I'm sorry for my camera that is moving left and right, by the
No worries.
way. But um, it's very interesting topic. I live in Spain. In Spain, we have a big sense of, let's say, um, finishing at the time, right? Finishing at the right time. And at the same time, we have this kind of thing that we like things well done, which means whenever is needed, we are going to spend the extra mile, the extra hour, the extra whatever is needed, because we want things finished and well done, right? At least I will say that not every person in my country is like that. Like, culture is not only countered by personality, but there is a tendency for that, right? That being said, um, we will, and most of us, we will consider a failure of management the fact that we need to constantly crunch, right? And that will, in many cases, diminish the trust of our leadership very easily, right? Uh, at least in this side of Europe, which I am almost the most Western possible, except for Portugal, and it's like we have a good balance of life and work, and this is what we're looking for, right? Like, we like to finish at 5, go have a coffee, go have a beer with friends, and to a certain degree have already today the life that some people is dreaming of when they retire, right? And this is like something that is very ingrained in our values. Does that mean that we do less? Well, we do what we need to do, right? And once again, whenever we need to bend the spine, we bend the spine, right? If that makes sense. What I can tell you is that the the crunch culture is still real. Like, a lot of people, I mean, I will say that in every studio that I worked, I collaborated, I've been giving service to, their goal is to remove crunch because of the obvious consequences that that has to the workforce, to the people working there, right? At the end of the day, you need people who's engaged, people who's happy, to be able to deliver great games. And one of the worst things that could happen is having people that, well, wants to leave or wants to abandon the industry. You know, that is lost knowledge, that is actually having to reinvent the wheel, that is actually losing people who owns pipelines that are basically, sustaining your company in some cases, right?